a slide, take a right, Bernie, after all the kids, is not 22 years old anymore, he's 31. But the point is, he's still a good fighter, he's a great fighter in my mind.
Angelo Dundee. The name alone makes boxing royalty bow down. The cornerman who whispered secrets to Muhammad Ali. The genius who guided 15 world champions to glory. But here's what nobody talks about. Angelo had favorites, and his list is going to shock the boxing world.
No, the doctor explained to me he didn't have to take no great punch to create the break because there was a space in between his teeth.
Today we're revealing Angelo Dundee's 10 favorite boxers of all time. We're talking about alleged private conversations, behind-the-scenes stories that never made it to the cameras, and relationships that changed boxing history forever. From the obvious picks that defined his legacy to the shocking choices that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about this legendary trainer.
That night would have given Muhammad a tough fight. Steady, slow but steady. That beats a lot of guys.
Some of these fighters never even worked with Angelo, but they earned his respect in ways that'll blow your mind. The drama, the betrayals, the pure artistry, it's all here. Number 3 is going to leave you speechless, and number 1, man, you won't believe who really held the top spot in Angelo's heart. Let's dive in. 10. Carmen Basilio. Carmen Basilio takes our number 10 spot, and this pick reveals everything about Angelo Dundee's roots in the sport. Before the glitz and glamour of Ali and Leonard, there was Basilio, the tough-as-nails middleweight who showed young Angelo what a real championship heart looked like. Angelo didn't train Basilio directly, but sources close to the Dundee family claim he studied Carmen's fights religiously. Angelo would watch Basilio tapes over and over, an anonymous boxing insider allegedly revealed. He loved how Carmen just kept coming forward, no matter what you threw at him. What sealed Basilio's spot was his famous wars with Sugar Ray Robinson. Angelo saw those fights and understood what greatness really meant, a former cornerman supposedly shared. Basilio gave Robinson hell twice, and that kind of courage, you can't teach that, but you can learn to recognize it and respect it. 9. Willie Pastano. Willie Pastano at number 9, and this is where Angelo's journey as a legendary cornerman truly began. Pastano was Angelo's first world champion, the light heavyweight who proved that the Dundee magic was real, and not just lucky timing with better-known fighters.
Heavyweight champion of Argentina. Not much difference in weight, by the way. Pastano.
Willie was my foundation, Angelo allegedly told boxing journalists years later. Everything I learned about being in a corner, I learned with Willie Pastano. Sources inside the boxing community claim their relationship was more like brothers than trainer and fighter, with Angelo treating every Pastano fight like it was a world title bout. The real story here, Pastano wasn't the most naturally gifted fighter, but Angelo saw potential where others saw limitations. Willie had this awkward style that nobody could figure out. A gym regular supposedly overheard Angelo saying, "My job was to make that awkwardness into a weapon," and we did. What made Pastano special to Angelo was the loyalty factor. Willie stuck with Angelo when nobody knew who Angelo Dundee was, an industry insider allegedly revealed. That kind of loyalty meant everything to Angelo, and he never forgot it. Their bond reportedly lasted until Pastano's death, with Angelo attending every major life event and staying connected through thick and thin. 8. Joseé Napoles. Joseé Napoles lands at number 8, and boxing historians know this Cuban welterweight was pure poetry in the ring. Angelo didn't train Napoles, but sources claim he considered the Cuban one of the most underrated fighters in boxing history, a sentiment that reveals Angelo's eye for true technical mastery. The connection between Angelo and Napoles went deeper than most people knew. Industry insiders claim they had mutual respect that bordered on admiration, with Napoles allegedly seeking Angelo's advice on several occasions. Joseé would ask Angelo questions about American fighters, a boxing writer supposedly revealed. He valued Angelo's opinion more than almost anyone in the sport. What sealed Napoles on this list was his longevity and consistency. Joseé stayed at the top for years without any real decline, Angelo reportedly said. That tells you everything about his dedication and ring intelligence. Sources claim Angelo used Napoles as an example when teaching fighters about pacing themselves for long championship reigns. 7. Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard at number 7. And yeah, this might seem low for a fighter Angelo actually trained to legendary status. But here's the thing. Their relationship was complicated, and the behind-the-scenes drama tells a story the public never fully understood. Angelo guided Leonard through some of his greatest victories, including that legendary comeback against Marvin Hagler. Ray had everything: speed, power, charisma, intelligence, Angelo allegedly told close associates. But sometimes having everything makes a fighter harder to handle. Sources claim there was tension between Leonard's team and Angelo about who deserved credit for Ray's success. Angelo reportedly felt like he was one voice among many in Leonard's corner, unlike his relationship with Ali, where Angelo was the undisputed general. With Ray, there were always other people whispering in his ear, a former cornerman supposedly revealed. Angelo respected Ray's talent, but the dynamic was different. 6. George Foreman Big. George Foreman crashes into number 6, and this relationship proves Angelo Dundee understood comeback stories better than anyone alive. When Foreman returned to boxing at age 38, most people laughed. Angelo? He saw something the critics missed, a man who'd found peace and purpose. George came back a completely different fighter, Angelo allegedly told boxing insiders. Not just physically different, but mentally transformed into something more dangerous than his younger self. Sources claim Angelo studied Foreman's comeback fights obsessively, marveling at how George used experience and ring intelligence to overcome diminished physical tools. The Michael Moorer knockout sealed Foreman's place in Angelo's heart. Angelo called that knockout before it happened, an industry source allegedly shared. He told people George would catch Moorer eventually because young fighters always make mistakes against patient veterans. What impressed Angelo most was Foreman's refusal to quit on his dream, proving that belief and determination could overcome impossible odds. 5. Luis Rodriguez. Luis Rodriguez at number 5, and casual fans might be scratching their heads right now. But this Cuban welterweight holds a special place in Angelo's story that most people never talk about. Rodriguez was one of Angelo's earliest world-class fighters, proving that the Dundee method worked with elite-level talent. Luis was smoother than silk, Angelo allegedly told boxing writers years later. He could make champions look ordinary with just his jab and footwork. Sources inside the gym claim Angelo spent countless hours perfecting Rodriguez's timing and counterpunching, creating a fighter who could beat anyone on pure skill alone. The real connection? Rodriguez and Angelo shared Cuban heritage and a deep understanding of boxing's finer points. They spoke the same language, literally and figuratively, a former gym member supposedly revealed. Angelo could communicate with Luis in ways that went beyond just English or Spanish. They understood the art of boxing on the same level. 4. Ralph Dupus at number 4 might surprise you, but this pick shows Angelo's loyalty to fighters who gave him everything they had. Dupus was a tough Louisiana fighter who became one of Angelo's early success stories, proving that heart and determination could take you far in this brutal sport. Ralph would fight a bear if you asked him to, Angelo allegedly told close friends. He didn't have the prettiest style, but he had something more important. He had guts. Sources claim Angelo developed some of his most effective corner tactics while working with Dupus, learning how to motivate fighters who relied on toughness over natural talent. The bond between Angelo and Dupus reportedly went beyond boxing. Ralph trusted Angelo completely, a boxing historian supposedly revealed. Whatever Angelo told him to do, Ralph did it without question. That kind of trust allowed Angelo to experiment with strategies and techniques that would later help him with bigger-name fighters. 3. Jimmy Ellis. Jimmy Ellis explodes into number 3, and this is where things get really interesting. Ellis was Ali's sparring partner who became a world champion in his own right, and Angelo's relationship with Jimmy reveals secrets about loyalty, opportunity, and what happens when a trainer has to choose between fighters. Jimmy was always in Muhammad's shadow, but he was a hell of a fighter, Angelo allegedly told boxing insiders. The problem was, nobody could see past Ali to notice how good Jimmy really was. Sources claim Angelo worked overtime to give Ellis his own identity, trying to separate Jimmy's legacy from being known as just Ali's practice partner. Here's the real drama. When Ali was banned from boxing, Angelo threw himself into making Ellis a champion. Angelo felt like he owed it to Jimmy, a close associate supposedly revealed. Jimmy had spent years helping Ali become great, and Angelo wanted to prove that loyalty goes both ways in this sport. 2. Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson at number 2. And before you lose your mind, understand that Angelo never trained Robinson. But sources claim Robinson was Angelo's gold standard, the measuring stick he used for every fighter he ever worked with. The fighter Angelo allegedly called the greatest to ever lace up gloves. Everything I knew about boxing, I learned from watching Sugar Ray, Angelo allegedly told multiple boxing historians. He could do anything he wanted in that ring. Switch styles mid-fight, knock you out, outbox you, whatever the moment required. What impressed Angelo most was reportedly Robinson's complete mastery of every aspect of the sport. Here's what makes this placement powerful. Angelo allegedly studied Robinson's fights his entire career, using Ray's techniques to teach his own fighters. Angelo would break down Robinson film frame by frame, a former student supposedly revealed. He'd show his guys how Ray set up combinations, how he created angles, how he made champions look helpless. 1. Muhammad Ali, number 1 on Angelo Dundee's list, and honestly, how could it be anyone else? This wasn't just a trainer-fighter relationship. Sources claim this was a bond that transcended boxing, a partnership that changed sports history and defined both men's legacies forever. Muhammad was my son, my brother, my best friend, Angelo allegedly told close associates in private moments. Everything I did in boxing, everything I became was because that man trusted me in his corner. What made their relationship legendary wasn't just the victories. It was the mutual respect and love that everyone around them could feel. Here's the real story. When Ali was stripped of his title for refusing Vietnam, Angelo reportedly never wavered in his support. Angelo stood by Muhammad when it cost him money and opportunities, an industry insider supposedly revealed. That's when their bond became unbreakable. In the hard times, not the glory days. So there you have it. Angelo Dundee's 10 favorite boxers revealed. What do you think about these picks? Drop your comments below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more boxing secrets. See you in the next one.